Hello everyone, Superbirddiecast. Today I'm here to talk about another crucial topic that I personally don't think is talked about enough in this community. And comparing it to the scalper talk, I think it's underrated. And this conversation is about the people who do not clean up after themselves after leaving the pegs and hunting for those supers and the treasure hunts that everyone is after. So we have those people that always do it, and it always ruins the fun for the next collector that comes along. And it's usually the biggest sign to know, hey, it's picked through already. However, in a way, it can be a pretty disrespectful sign. And when you're not cleaning up after the pegs, you're either leaving it for the next collector to have to clean up and the employees to clean up. And I understand what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, if you're one of the people that doesn't clean up after themselves, you're probably thinking, hey, so what? Well, here's the problem. If you don't really clean up after yourself, you're just contributing to the fact of what employees hate. Employees have a tendency to usually hate collectors, and is usually the reason why a lot of employees aren't willing enough to check in the back for Hot Wheels. Although there's also store policies involved with that as well. However, the main reason that some stores may hold out on putting new stock out is because of the childlike actions that are committed by collectors that do not clean up after themselves. Overall, I think it's a very disrespectful thing, and it's something that should be talked about more often in this community. One thing is when you leave the pegs and there's just a bunch of cars on the shelf. So I'm going to roll you to a clip now, and I'll be back after. Okay guys, Superbirddiecast. I am here back in the store, and I'm here to show you what not to do. And as you can see, this is left in a mess. And this is what employees hate. Employees hate collectors that leave stuff like this. Do not leave it in a mess. I am going to take that dart though. But here's the thing, clean it up. Clean up the mess. If you make a mess, clean it up. It's as simple as this. It's not hard. And plus it makes employees more than willing to work with you in the future if you want to go for a box. Not sure about that tune Batmobile, I might pick that up, but nothing new here, but this is just me showing you the proper etiquette and the respect that you should have. And yeah, I'm gonna take that dart. But always clean up after yourselves. So I hope you guys understand how annoying it can be as another collector to walk up to some pegs that are empty just because of a mess that was left by another collector, or as the employee's point of view, having to clean this up. And as an employee, this would never make them want to put any more out. This is just going to make them want to hold it back so they don't have to worry about cleaning these messes. And I know what you're thinking, it's their job. However, if the employees are out here to put the cars out, they're working hard enough. They already got more shelves to focus on. Just leave it clean and be a respectful collector. I'm going to show you another example of if you end up going through a box on what not to leave it in. And okay, well, what do we have here? It's like a Q case ransacked. This is what you don't do, everybody. Do not leave cases like that. That's not cool. So I guess I'll put them out. It looks ransacked already. So I'll be back once I find some stuff. Alright, so I just cleaned up what employees hate the most. And so there's nothing in there. Everything else is put on the peg. Nice and clean, respectfully. I hope this teaches you proper etiquette on going through cases. If you're a pallet raider or if you got permission to go through it, please know that the proper way to go through it. Unlike in the video that I just showed, where people are leaving cars overflowing above the box, if you're going to go through a case, put it back the way that you found it, or put some of the cars on the pegs if you can. And if you can't, obviously put them back in the box. And a matter of fact, you know what? I'm just going to show you, for the guys who may be a little more confused on if they might not know how to put them back in the box right. So I'm going to show you how to put them in a case. So let's say you went through a box and you can't fit every car on the pegs, or they tell you not to put them on the pegs, or maybe you're at a store ripping for the pallets. I'm not going to judge you here, but you don't know how to put the cars back in the box respectfully. And maybe this is part of the reason why collectors don't do this, because they don't know how. So I'm going to show you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put some of the cars in rows in threes. Start by putting cars in threes, and then after you have a row of three, you flip it over. And then you do another row of three to cover above that row of three, and you grab from the bottom of that row, and yeah, I know I'm knocking stuff over, and you slide it in, and you can see this fits really nicely inside, and you repeat that process through until you have every car back in the case. And if you run out of space on the bottom, just do the same thing and stack it on top of it, and maybe put the sleeve in if you can, which is like that cardboard paper that has a flat surface between both layers of cars. But if you can't, then just stack those cars above the ones on the bottom there. And I'll be back when I have the cars back in my box. Alright, so once every car is back in the box, no matter how many it takes to put back in the box, you want to close the box. You don't want to just leave it open like this, because then you'll know it's gone forever. So what you do is you put one flap down and put an opposite flap there. And this is going to be really tough to do one-handed, and then you put the flap that crosses from the first flap across above the second. And then this fourth flap, you lift the lip of one of the other flaps, and then you do that. And this is what you should be left with, and then you can put the box back on the pallet or give it back to the employee. Sorry for my camera angles, it's really tough to do that one-handed, pretty much impossible. But that is how you go through a case respectfully and cleanly. And to those of you who still don't care about the proper respect for employees and other collectors, think of this food for thought. If you were to borrow something from somebody, would you give it back to them in the same shape, or would you bring it back to them destroyed? You would bring it back to them in the same shape, if not in better shape. Therefore, how is it really any different from when you see something to either bring something back in the same condition as it was before, or if you see something to leave it in the same condition after you're done with it? There's really not any difference. It's still the same kind of etiquette with respect. So, you wouldn't bring something back destroyed, so why would you have something that you saw that was clean and then destroy it and then not clean it back up? So in a nutshell, the reasons why you should clean up after yourselves when you're done going through the pegs or going through a case is to A, it's a respectful thing to do, and B, it encourages the employees to actually respect collectors, which if employees hate collectors, it's usually the reason because the collectors are not cleaning up after themselves. And therefore, if the collectors clean up after themselves, it's less likely that employees are going to hold stock in the back until either the stock is too low or just want to put the stock out when it's available. So therefore, those are the reasons why you should always clean up after yourselves, for the respect of other people, and hey, it encourages new stock to come out for all you collectors, and yes, even you scalpers. I'm not going to go down the scalper talk. I made a separate video on that. I'll put the link to that down below in the description and in the comments, so check that one out. And I hope you guys learned a little something today. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the video. And happy hunting and stay safe.